Valued shareholders, dear colleagues, ladies and gentlemen, on behalf of the entire Board of Management of Brenntag SE, it's my pleasure to welcome you to this year's General Shareholders Meeting. Today we will be providing you as usual with an overview of Brenntag SE's performance in the past financial year. In addition, we would like to give you, our esteemed shareholders, a look ahead at how we intend to maintain the company's success in the years to come. And I'm looking forward to your questions and I'm looking forward to your feedback. Economically, politically and socially, we are currently navigating our way through extremely challenging times. In just these past few weeks, we once again experienced an intensification of events, decisions and measures that have further fueled global uncertainty. But last year, 2024, was already characterized by various challenging geopolitical and economic conditions. The companies worldwide have felt the consequences. Our sector, the chemicals industry, was affected too, as were many of our customer markets. Brenntag needed to take resolute action in response to this environment and confront the difficult conditions and external influences head-on, and this is what we've done. We've taken extensive measures to improve our operating performance and to lower our costs. At the same time, we've continued to implement our strategy to win while maintaining a focus on our operations. With our strategy, we're creating the basis for the long-term success and the future growth of our company. In this highly demanding market environment in fiscal 24, we consequently achieved results that can be considered on the whole as very sound. In its 150th anniversary year, Brenntag's ability to maintain its focus in the face of change has been crucial. Focus in change, our anniversary motto, means maintaining our mental agility and continuing our company's development in line with a clear strategy that never loses sight of our fundamental strengths and values. These are the prerequisites for lasting survival and success in an environment that is constantly becoming more volatile, more independent and more intensely competitive. So I would like to sum up Brenntag's 2024 financial year as follows. We have stood firm and we have taken an active part in shaping the course of change. None of this would have been possible without our more than 18,000 employees worldwide. It is they who day after day put this attitude into practice in the work for Brenntag. I would like to thank our employees expressly on your behalf as well for their steadfast commitment. You have been and continue to be the driving force in our company. Let us now, dear shareholders, take a closer look at Brenntag's performance in the past financial year. As I've already mentioned at the beginning, 2024 was characterized by general uncertainty and a dampened confidence on the part of consumers. In addition, there were persistent inflationary trends and various geopolitical challenges, in particular the ongoing wars in Ukraine and the Middle East. All of these factors put downward pressure on the economic development. The chemicals industry in 24 remained in an unusually extended trough in the industrial cycle. A trough that, in comparison to the cycles of previous decades, was surely the longest that we as an industry have had to cope with. The selling prices of industrial chemicals were particularly subject to pressure as a result. In 2024, we at Brenntag achieved sound results and stood firm in spite of these challenging conditions. To put it in concrete terms, Brenntag generated roughly 16.2 billion euros in sales last year. The 3% decline is attributable to falling sales prices and was not offset by the larger sales volumes that we nevertheless recorded sequentially at the group level over the course of the year. Operating EBITDA amounted to 1.1 billion euros, which was at the lower end of the forecast we communicated in August 24. The decline in earnings stems from both divisions and is attributable to higher volume-driven costs and inflationary effects. Both Brenntag Specialties and Brenntag Essentials have once again achieved stable or growing volumes in fiercely competitive markets. This was not, however, sufficient to compensate for the decline in prices. Our divisions have taken resolute action in response to this challenging, intensely competitive environment. We worked intensively on further improving our operating performance last year, and the focus was on prudent price and margin management, further portfolio optimization, and a differentiated steering of the divisions, differentiated along their specific customer and market requirements. In addition, we've implemented and realized a comprehensive cost reduction program to lower our operating costs and counteract volume and inflation-related cost increases. 2024 has already seen a cost reduction of more than 50 million euros. In 2025, we intend to double our savings of 24. This further emphasizes our goal of achieving 300 million euros in savings per year until 2027, as compared to the base year 2023. Ladies and gentlemen, although all of these aforementioned measures and initiatives have had their intended effect, and we were able to record the predicted slight sequential increase in volumes over the course of the year, we need to be clear about one thing. Our financial results have remained considerably short of our expectations and ambitions in this extremely challenging environment and these difficult market conditions. Our weak share price trend reflects this and is not an indication of Brenntag's actual potential. Nevertheless, we should not lose sight of our long-term performance. In 2024, we at Brenntag achieved the third best operating result in the history of our company. Since 2019, we've increased our operating result by a good 45%, an impressive development that we can be proud of. It demonstrates the scaling potential of our business and our ability to generate substantial, sustainable growth. The objective of all our strategic and operational efforts is to create lasting value and to allow you, dear shareholders, to share in it. This is our aspiration, and this is also reflected in our dividend policy. At today's general shareholders meeting, the Board of Management and the Supervisory Board propose a stable dividend of 2.10 euros per share. This equates to a payout ratio of about 57%. The basis for this dividend proposal is our robust cash generation, our strong balance sheet, and our confidence in Brenntag's future performance. Subject to your approval, today, Brenntag will have thereby maintained or increased its dividend for the 14th time in a row. This equates to an average annual dividend growth rate of roughly 11% since the company went public. Not once has the dividend been reduced since Brenntag made its initial public offering in 2010. We find this is a strong evidence of our company's resilience and value-added potential. Ladies and gentlemen, standing firm and taking an active part in shaping the course of change. Both constitute the basis for Brenntag's long-term success. Now let me address in particular the second aspect, taking an active part in shaping the course of change. Since the beginning of 2020, we've aligned Brenntag strategically and structurally with the differentiated market needs specific to the industrial and special chemicals market needs. To that end, we have initiated the most comprehensive transformation in the history of company. In the first phase of our transformation, which we call Project Brenntag, the focus was on developing our new operating model. We created within Brenntag two global divisions with a clear customer segmentation, Brenntag Specialties and Brenntag Essentials. This reflects a clear understanding that the full-line distribution model has become obsolete. The increasing tendency of distribution to be aligned with either of the two fundamentally different business models, those of industrial chemicals and specialty, is clearly visible and perceptible in the industry. As a market leader, we've played a substantial role in setting this trend, and our competitors have followed our logic. At the end of 2020, we brought Project Brenntag to a successful conclusion, 1 year earlier than intended. Our strategy to win, which we've been putting into practice since 23, marks the second phase of our transformation. And with this growth strategy, we intend to emerge as the industry leader in all dimensions and in general to give new impetus to our sector and mobilize our industry. Since 2024, we've been operating according to our advanced operating model. Our more advanced business structure enables even greater differentiation in the steering of our two divisions in accordance with their growth strategies and in alignment with the specific market requirements. I would like to go into the progress we made in 24 in respect of the 4 pillars of our strategy to win. Core elements of this strategy are: first, differentiated strategies for the two divisions, Brenntag Specialties and Brenntag Essentials. Second, value-adding merger and acquisition activities. Third, a clear sustainability agenda. And fourth, transformation into a data and technology-oriented company. Let me begin with the first of these pillars, that is, the differentiated strategies pursued by our two divisions, Specialties and Essentials. Brenntag Specialties is developing into the world's leading provider in the distribution of innovative specialties and ingredients in selected, globally relevant focus industries. Customers from the complex world of specialty chemicals attach particular importance to a high-quality product portfolio and excellent services. In 24, we concentrated on improving the division's performance through a combination of short and long-term measures at Brenntag Specialties. By means of various short-term initiatives for margin management, we succeeded in optimizing our price and procurement structures. In the second half of the year, we were able to achieve a substantial improvement in gross profit per unit as compared to the first half of the year. And at the same time, we continued to pursue our long-term measures in multiple dimensions. We further optimized the Specialties business portfolio, reviewed our geographical positioning, increased global industry segmentation, and improved our strategic management of suppliers. The latter, in particular, has been progressing very encouragingly. In 24, we expanded our portfolio of suppliers with the addition of important partners and entered into more than 25 new distribution agreements. Our second division, Brenntag Essentials, serves a broad spectrum of industries and application categories as a flexible and efficient distribution partner for industrial chemicals. We offer the unique combination of a local presence with a global reach. We've been putting our triple strategy into practice at Essentials, concentrating in particular on what we refer to as last-mile service operations. operations. Worldwide, we've created some 100 of these operating units at the last mile, that is to say, in close proximity to customers, and are currently introducing the new steering structure with standardized performance indicators. We are continuing to optimize our global site network. In 24, we closed 33 sites, some of them office locations. Further closures are in progress or being planned. Also in case of Brenntag Essentials, we are focusing on optimizing our portfolio. A key element of our strategy is the targeted disentanglement of Brenntag Essentials and Brenntag Specialties. As already communicated in autumn of 2024, we've decided to adjust the timetable for its disentanglement and concentrate our efforts on the segments with the greatest value, creating a differentiation potential. These are the customer and supplier-facing segments within the divisions. We continue to use our existing structure as one Brenntag with two differentiated divisions, both of which are supported by a joint basis comprising central functions, business service, and IT. Why is this path of targeted disentanglement the right one, especially when compared to a premature and complete disentanglement and autonomy of the divisions? There are several reasons. First, improving the performance of Brenntag Specialties is of utmost priority. It is crucial and of crucial importance to that end that its portfolio of suppliers and products be qualitatively improved and made competitive with those market participants that are pure specialties providers. The current portfolio is an outgrowth of its position, has grown historically as a full-line distributor. And in the past, it was only in part developed strategically in the direction of a higher quality category within our life science and material science segments. As part of implementing our strategy, we're working to change precisely this. But this takes time. Autonomy would be coming at just the wrong time now for Brenntag Specialties. A second compelling reason is that a complete legal and operational disentanglement would result in high one-time costs, as we've already stated at the Capital Markets Day in 2023. And the identified dyssynergies would add a further burden onto our cost basis. And finally, in this currently difficult market environment, we must concentrate on improving our operating results in both divisions by increasing our gross profit position and reducing our cost basis. The focus must be very clearly on operational performance and the improvement of operational performance. In light of all this, it is our conviction that a premature split into two companies or a possible spin-off of Brenntag Specialties would not at this time create the desired value added for our shareholders. For the moment, we need to work appropriately on the specified tasks, to do our homework, in other words. Of decisive importance is the fact that, and this is my clear message to you, ladies and gentlemen, we have a clear plan of transformation that we're systematically pursuing. But we do know exactly when and how it will be necessary to adjust this plan and the transformation of our company in response to current developments. This is, again, our strength. That is, focus in change, and this is what we're showing. Value-adding acquisitions constitute another important pillar and growth driver for Brenntag. The chemical distribution market continues to be extremely fragmented. As a world market leader, Brenntag is in a very good position to further consolidate the market. Our leading role in the field of M&A we proved in 2024 by completing 8 acquisitions, 3 for Brenntag Specialties and 5 for Brenntag Essentials, with an enterprise value of roughly 550 million euros. 2 of these acquisitions had already been signed in 2023. The sustainability pillar of our strategy is another area of focus in which Brenntag took an active part in shaping the course, which correspond to our role as world market leader. We're pursuing an ambitious ESG agenda that features clear and measurable targets and diverse measures. This includes our climate protection strategy with its goal of using 100% environmentally friendly energy sources by the end 2025 and achieving net zero by 2045. Last year, we thoroughly reviewed and adjusted our climate protection targets. They now meet the requirements of the United Nations Science-Based Targets Initiative and were all successfully validated by the initiative in early 2025. A unique selling proposition in our industry. A central element are concrete sustainability solutions for our customers. Well, with the CO2 Explorer, we've developed our own tool which enable customers to control their CO2 footprints more effectively and to calculate emissions along their entire supply chain. Our CO2 Explorer has been very well received by its users and is already assisting several thousand business partners. In 2024, we once again improved our result in the EcoVadis sustainability assessment and, as before, remain the only global chemical distributor to have been awarded with platinum status. This puts us among the best 1% of all companies evaluated by EcoVadis worldwide. Another milestone was our inclusion in the DAX 30 ESG index in September 24. We're delighted that our progress has been recognized and confirmed by independent third parties. Well, what drives us, however, is primarily our vision of fostering a sustainable future. And this is why sustainability continues to remain a high priority, no matter what, and occupies a permanent position in our corporate strategy. Now let us turn to the fourth pillar of our strategy to win, the systematic modernization and development of our IT infrastructure along with our digital and databases. We wish to make Brenntag a more data and technology-driven company. We aim to mesh our processes more closely with those of our suppliers and customers in order to facilitate cooperation with us. We have bundled all of these measures into what we call our Digital Data Excellence Initiative, or for short, DiDEX. Implementation of this initiative is fully underway and has been contributing to our cost containment programs through efficiency increases and cost savings. And we strive to achieve an annual contribution of 200 million euros in total to operating EBITA by the end of 2026. The costs of such a comprehensive digitalization initiative are, of course, higher at the outset and decrease over the time. The reverse is true in respect of the benefits, which gradually increase over the time and are greatest at the end of the project when all the measures have been implemented. One example of our data-driven approach is our customer growth engine. This tool uses artificial intelligence to help our product managers and sales teams make procurement and sales decisions. In addition, we've expanded our partnership with Salesforce in 2024. We are the first customer in Germany to employ autonomous AI agents on the Salesforce platform. Our DiDEX initiative is not exclusively about the use of new technologies. We're also further developing our processes, here too, with a clear standard of excellence and leadership. Ladies and gentlemen, this brings me to the motive introduced at the beginning, which provides a fitting heading for Brenntag's performance in 2024. Standing firm in adverse circumstances and shape the change actively. Both has been achieved. The basis for them in the strengths we've cultivated over the decades and our value compass. At Brenntag, we adhere to 5 core values in everything we do: care, trust, clarity, excellence and safety. These values are the foundation on which our corporate culture is based, a culture characterized by mutual respect and collegial spirit. They are the key requirement for the trust on which our relationships with customers and suppliers is based. I firmly believe that, particularly with a view to the current challenges and uncertainties arising from geopolitics and the global economy, a core set of values is more important now than ever. Now let us take a closer look at the current 2025 financial year. The most recent trade disputes between the United States, China, the European Union and many other countries show how important trust and reliability are for prosperity, and how fatal it is when this basis threatens to erode. For a company like Brenntag, free trade, honest dialogue, international cooperation, and a sense of division of labor are more than just the core of its business model, they are defining attributes. We therefore hope, and this includes me personally, that we as a global community do not lapse back into protectionism and trade barriers, because that would make us all a lot poorer. But in the short term, however, we must be realistic. Uncertainty on the part of companies, consumers, investors has sustainably increased again in recent weeks. Worries about a worldwide recession are growing, and this development will leave even further traces also in our industries. In Germany, the new government is promising, to a certain extent at least, stability and planning reliability, even though many details remain to be worked out, and much will depend on the implementation once they are. It makes me cautiously optimistic that the coalition has recognized the great need for action to boost competitiveness and that it intends to take appropriate measures. In the EU as well, the Commission has set its priorities accordingly. Well, in view of this challenging environment, we at Brenntag have set clear priorities for 2025. First, we have to focus on our strengths, which means we are striving for excellence in everything we do. As usual, we focus on our customers, we promote cooperation and on the basis of a firm set of values, and we support our employees, who are the driving force behind our success. Second, we must stay course. With our strategy to win, we've clearly defined plan that sets up the guidelines for our further growth path. We've a clearly defined organizational structure that is tailored to the differentiated needs of customers and suppliers all over the world. We shall selectively develop these further, wherever doing so serves the purpose of value creation and differentiation in our markets. And in parallel, we will systematically work to improve our operating performance and increase our efficiency. It's my conviction that Brenntag is strategically, operationally and structurally in a strong position to meet this year's major challenges and at the same time take advantage of the arising opportunities for growth. We can and shall continue to stand firm and take an active part in shaping the course of change. At the same time, Brenntag finds itself confronted, like the industry as a whole, with a persistently and enormously challenging business environment and a volatile geopolitical climate and a high level of economic uncertainty that the global tariff negotiations have further amplified. All of this makes reliable forecasts very difficult. The fact remains that these negotiations and the expectation of significant tariff changes resulted as early as the second half of March in a dampened business outlook. Let me briefly offer you some insight into our business performance in the first quarter of 25. Even though our operating results remained at the previous year's level, our sequential performance compared to the fourth quarter 24 did not meet our initial expectations. Sales for the first quarter of 25 came to roughly 4.1 billion euros and hence remained stable as compared to the corresponding period last year. Operating gross profit increased by 2% and stood at a good 1 billion euros. Our operating gross profit as a percentage of sales therefore also increased slightly compared to the previous year, which indicates that we were able to control our gross profit margins to our benefit in spite of the persistent pressure on the sales prices of industrial chemicals. Our operating EBITDA amounted to 264 million euros, which put it at the previous year's level. We've generated a free cash flow of 163 million euros, and earnings per share stood at 93 cents compared to 97 cents last year. I'm pleased to be able to confirm that our cost reduction measures supported the underlying cost trend in the first quarter and that we are all well on our way to achieving the savings we're aiming for in 2025. This brings us to the forecast for the current 2025 fiscal year. The macroeconomic environment remains highly challenging with an increased level of economic uncertainty. Due to the high volatility of the developments regarding tariffs, it is currently difficult to predict with certainty the impact on Brenntag, our industry, and the markets we serve. In light of this, Brenntag maintains its operating EBITDA guidance for the full year 25 in the range of 1.1 billion euros to 1.3 billion euros. Even though potential secondary and tertiary tariff effects are hard to predict, we need to reflect the dampened business sentiment, which already impacted our performance towards the end of the first quarter. Considering the substantial unfavorable changes in euro-US dollar exchange rates, the increased level of economic uncertainty, the unresolved tariff discussions, as well as the continuation of geopolitical conflicts, earnings for 25 are currently expected to be in the lower range of the guidance. Valued shareholders, dear business partners and friends of Brenntag, ladies and gentlemen, allow me at the end of my talk today to add a few personal remarks. First, I would like to offer my sincere thanks to Dr. Christine Neumann, who left Brenntag at the end of March when her contract expired. Dr. Neumann has helped shape our company with great skill, foresight, and personal commitment over the past several years. Christine, you're surely watching. Many, many thanks. It's been such a pleasure to work with you. At the same time, I would like to welcome to the Board of Management Mr. Thomas Reisten, our new Chief Financial Officer. Thomas Reisten has not only expertise in financial matters and capital markets, but also experience in business transformation, which of course is an important factor in Brenntag's current phase. As you already know, I will not be renewing my contract, which expires at the end of the year, and will hand over on the 1st of September to Jens Birgersen. So this is therefore my last general shareholders meeting as CEO of Brenntag. Brenntag is far more to me than just my employer, the company, my duties, and above all, the people here at Brenntag have had a very strong formative impact on me personally over the past several years and have become close to my heart. Together, we've gone through profound changes in the last several years, have as a team grown with the challenges, and in so doing have grown together. We've set an important strategic course to move our company consistently in the direction of sustainable growth, operational strength, and proximity to customers. This is not a farewell yet, because there is still a lot to do until I leave, but I would like to take this opportunity today to say thank you. Thank you, Brenntag employees, for your consistently respectful and collegial cooperation, your great commitment and your support over the past 5 years, or more than 5 years. I likewise would like to thank the Supervisory Board for their trusting and constructive cooperation. And of course, I would like to thank you, our shareholders, for your loyalty, your trust on the path we've taken together. I'm proud of what we've achieved together. I'm proud of the company which I'm handing over to Jens Birgersson. When I look at how much talent is bundled together here at Brenntag, how robust our business model is, and how innovative and agile the organization is, and I'm firmly convinced Brenntag is extraordinarily well positioned to remain successful in the future too. Standing firm and taking an active part in shaping the course of change, Brenntag has always stood for this, and it is my firm belief that the company will continue to do so. Thank you ever so much. It's been a great honor and pleasure.